Do you ever want to dive deeper into the Bible, but you just don't know where to begin, or struggle to feel like you even have the time? When you read the Bible, do you get frustrated because you know there's so much more in there? You just have no clue how to get it out? Or maybe you want to know the Bible better, and you're looking for any resource to help. Then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the Context and Color of the Bible. We're sisters. I'm Veronica.
I'm Erica.
And we love to study the Bible, and we love to help others understand it better. When it comes to our own study of Scripture, we have found that in bringing back the context of Scripture, it adds so much to our understanding. It actually adds color to the black and white pages of the text. So, Erica, do you know what tomorrow is? Not in real life at the time of this release.
Nope, I have no...
It is tax day. Taxes are due. Tomorrow is April 15th.
Yay.
Here in America. Hope you got your taxes filed on time.
You know, I am very spoiled because my husband
takes care of all of that.
I know, don't hate me.
Yes.
He is very, but he's Dutch, so he's very money. Yes. He wants to know, whereas I'm much more like,
what's happening with my bank account?
Right. I mean, we live on a budget. I do. Yes. But he's much more into I want to know where every penny goes. So I'm like, great, go for it.
Yep. So tomorrow, just thank your husband for doing taxes because I'm sure your taxes have been done for a while.
Yes, yes.
So
because you and your husband do it together. Like you.
Yeah, well, we go to somebody.
We go to somebody too, but you physically go.
Yeah, we physically go. But just so everyone knows, your taxes are due tomorrow. And if not, file your extension.
Yeah. Get them in, folks.
There's my money and financial advice.
101.
Yes.
Get your taxes in.
We're not going to talk about taxes or money. We're still talking about
women.
Oh, yeah. That. And I was going to say that strong, long-haired, hulky, but yet intelligent guy.
I do. Yes.
Is that where we are?
Yes, that is where we are. Dumber than dumb in some ways.
Because in some ways you really liked his wit.
The man's got a brain. He just doesn't use it.
He stops using it when women come in
the
picture.
Yes.
So
he has a brain.
With that, we're on Judges 15 today.
So yeah, Samson. Last week we left Samson. And Samson had just left his wife. But our leaving was different because we obviously were going to come back. Samson's father-in-law, however, wasn't sure. He assumed Samson wasn't. I think Samson's situation with the Philistines was one of mutual distrust. And I don't think the marriage really helped. In fact, it just made things worse.
Yeah.
And so we're not sure how much time later. Could have been weeks, could have been a few months. Definitely not years, but also not just a day or two. Samson got angry, and he's away for a while. But he finally cools off, misses the woman he married. He'd like to go see her, and he honestly even takes her a gift. A little bribery, maybe like, hey, can I get some? Here's my payment. But lo and behold, she's gone. Veronica, where is she? I'm serious. Where is she?
Her father took her back and gave her to someone else.
Right.
She's married to somebody else now.
Right. And I get why the father-in-law did that, but I also appreciate Samson's frustration with this. I married her, but I get the father-in-law. You left.
And you ticked everyone off when you're leaving.
Right.
And potentially they've heard of the 30 people he killed.
Right.
I don't know if I want you around.
Right. I figured it was null and void. Like you never finalized it.
Right. Yeah.
So technically it never finished. So I just assumed you weren't coming back. But hey, I've got a younger daughter.
And maybe he waited a day or two and you didn't come back.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know how quickly he did it.
So.
Yeah.
A very messy situation.
A very messy situation. And Samson's response, though, is interesting because he says, this time I am innocent in regards to the Philistines. And you're going, does that mean last time you weren't? Samson, are you realizing maybe killing 30 men was a bit over the top because they cheated at a riddle? But who knows? Either way, Samson this time feels completely justified in his revenge. Now, remember, behind the scenes, you have God wanting to set his people free. So he's using Samson to accomplish his purposes. But to put it bluntly, God doesn't have much to work with. So
Yeah.
he'll use him. All right. So what does Samson do, Veronica?
Well, I'm going to read verse 4. He went out and caught 300 foxes. He tied their tails together in pairs and fastened a torch to each pair of tails. Then he lit the torches and let the foxes run through the grain fields of the Philistines. He burned all their grain to the ground, including the sheaves and the uncut grain, and he destroyed their vineyards and olive groves. You know, just randomly found 300 foxes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which to me is still just amazing. Go try to find 300 foxes. You're going to walk around our neighborhood and try to find 300 squirrels.
Oh, I could probably find 300 chipmunks in a summer between the neighbors.
A summer, but you go, this took time.
Yeah.
This was not I'm in an emotional state and I'm going to catch a fox or two and light them on fire.
This took time.
Time to catch 300 foxes. Now tie 150 pairs together and light the torch. I mean,
and put them in specific places.
Yes, this is not a.
I told you, Samson has a brain. Crazy. The man is crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's got a flair for the dramatic.
Lost it.
Yes.
But yet even, I mean, there's so much I want to go, God, where did he find 300 foxes?
And why? Why this way? Why 300? Why foxes?
I know, and I'm feeling bad for the foxes too.
I know.
Mom's really going to feel bad for the foxes.
Right. Those poor foxes. Don't hurt them. I like foxes.
They are pretty.
They are very pretty. But the main thing he's doing is hitting their economy where it hurts by destroying all of this. Like, this is what they were planning on bringing in for the winter to sell, to use for next year. And he's hitting them in their bank account.
And it makes me think it's taking over days or weeks.
Yeah, that's you probably couldn't do it in a day.
You probably couldn't do it in a day.
Yeah. So the revenge, again, gets bigger. And so we're watching as each one ups the other. And this totally is a great reason why God put that eye for an eye in the Torah for Israel. When people in society act wickedly and aren't punished, they're only encouraged to keep acting wicked. And eventually, who suffers the most will be the poor, the women. The weakest members of society suffer when wicked people are allowed to run rampant. So it is merciful and it is just to punish criminals. But there need to be boundaries around that punishment. They're to fit the crimes. And that's why God institutes an eye for an eye. It's not saying go hurt someone who hurts you, but it's to say there are limits around what you can do when you're giving out punishment. Neither the criminal nor the justice system are to have free reign and total control. If the criminal has total control, that's anarchy. If the justice system has total control, that's dictatorship. So you need boundaries for a healthy, good society. Well, Samson's not paying attention to that at all, but neither do the Philistines, because when they find out what happened and who did this, what do, Veronica?
They go get the father-in-law and the woman, and they burn them.
And probably alive.
Yeah, because it says burn them to death. It didn't say they died and then they burned them.
Right. I mean, this is horrific. This is disgusting. They are completely ignoring the fact that they're part of the reason this riff happened in the first place. Like Samson's companions.
Yeah, but what's the right punishment if you've just destroyed our economy?
To kill, you go after Samson.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, what would be you
go after the person who did it.
Yes.
Not, I mean,
and then you make them pay
financial restitution. Mm-hmm. They are angry and they want revenge. And so they go after the first people they can find. They can't get Samson, but they can get his father-in-law and his ex-wife.
Ex-father-in-law and ex-wife.
I mean, and Samson's horrified. And we're horrified.
You all threw the family in the position in the first place.
Right.
You cheated.
Right. You caused some of this.
It's a mess.
It is. It's a mess. I mean, this is society without scripture. Mm-hmm. And so Samson, we kind of appreciate his response. He's rightly horrified. So he takes an even bigger revenge on them. I mean, it's getting over the top. But why is he fighting the Philistines, Veronica? What's his reason? Is it a national reason? Is he doing it to set
his own personal vendetta?
Yes.
It's his own, I got issues with you.
Yes. So essentially, Samson's thinking about just himself.
Right. Samson versus an entire nation.
Right.
Individual versus a nation.
Right. But so strong is he, and I think smart in some ways, that he pulls it off for a while.
Yeah.
But this is all about Samson. Mm-hmm. Samson's all about Samson. So the Philistines get really angry, and we can't get Samson, so we'll go against his people, and they fight against Judah. Now, Samson is of the tribe of Dan, but the Danites have left, and so he's hanging out in Judah's territory. Now, this is Judah. They were the first ones in the beginning. God chose to go against their enemies. This is the tribe of Othniel, of Caleb. Like, we think big things of Judah. And they're irritated and ticked at Samson.
Yeah.
Because they're going, Samson, we've maintained the status quo.
Right.
Why are you causing all this issue? You're not even of our tribe. And they decide it's time to get rid of Samson. But how many men do they get together?
3,000.
3,000. I mean, the picture I get is just this over the top. Samson's living in a cave. He's one man.
Right.
And these 3,000 men, you get like they're outside, potentially terrified to speak because maybe he'll hurt them. So they're inching up to the cave. Everybody's like, no, you speak. No, you speak. No, you go in. No, you tell him. No, you tell him. And finally, from the back of the cave, you get Samson's voice ringing out as a lion, like, one of you speak before I lose my temper. So they tell him why they're there. The Philistines are in charge. You're causing us trouble, so we're taking you to them so they leave us alone. Veronica, this would be the perfect moment for Samson to go, great, let's fight back.
Right.
I've got the Spirit of the Lord. I can handle at least how many men on my own?
Right.
I've got 3,000 men behind me. Gideon fought with 300 and beat his enemy. Samson, you've got what? Isn't 10 times? Isn't that how that works? This is 10 times the number Gideon had. Go fight, rally the troops, get an army together, and push back. But they don't. And Judah doesn't invite Samson to do it either. Like, Samson, lead us, be our general.
Right.
They just want to maintain the status quo.
It's easier sometimes.
Yeah, it is. There are moments.
It's safer sometimes. It feels safer sometimes to go, don't rock the boat.
Yes.
Play the game.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true.
And in Judah's defense, they have God doesn't seem to be talking to anybody going, hey, Samson's over in that cave.
Yeah.
I've chosen him. Judah just looks and goes, here's the crazy guy who's irritating.
Causing trouble.
And in all our enemies who we're living with, around, among.
Right.
And he's causing issues, and I haven't heard from God that he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So really, I'm going to get rid of the troublemaker.
So you can appreciate where Judah's coming from. Yes. I think if Samson has stood up.
Right. I think Samson has a choice.
Right. I can appreciate that. So Judah's more, yeah, they don't know. That's true. Because Samson's obviously not telling people.
Samson's not doing, and truthfully, if I would look at Samson, I go, you don't seem to be playing by the rules that have been set out for you. You have long hair. You could be a Nazirite.
But you don't do anything else.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right.
You're not looking.
I can appreciate that.
You're not looking like a good Jew should. A good Israelite should.
Right. Right. Definitely not a good Nazirite.
Right.
Okay, so, all right. So we'll give Judah a pass.
They just want him out.
They just want him out. So they're not going to kill him.
Right. Just leave our land and leave us alone.
Right. And Samson agrees. Don't kill me yourself. Turn me over to the Philistines. And so they kind of have that status quo too, I guess. They bind him with ropes.
Yeah.
And they walk him to the Philistines. Here, take him. Leave us alone. We have no clue what Samson's plan was. The man thinks.
He might not even have a plan.
I'm sure he didn't. I don't think he
There's
ever
no
does.
beautiful women yet.
No. But he does think quickly on his feet. He just doesn't think long term.
Right.
So he's bound by Judah, taken to the Philistines. When he's with the Philistines, that's when the Spirit of the Lord comes on Samson again. And it's amazing. His ropes like burn off of him. He's free, and strength like fire is coursing through his veins. He's looking around for the nearest weapon. A fresh donkey jawbone. He grabs it and begins to swing, and 1,000 Philistine men are dead. The rest flee in terror. I don't enjoy watching people die. I don't like fighting, but this must have been a fascinating fight. Honestly, one man.
1 to 1,000?
Right. That's insane.
Yes.
So that kind of would have been impressive to see. I'm not going to lie. But we also have to remember a fresh jawbone means it's still soft. It hasn't had time to dry out. So it's even more impressive that he could kill that many with it. And it's still part of a corpse. Mm-hmm. It's still contaminating Samson. And what happens when he's done and his enemies are fleeing in terror? Veronica, can you read verse 16?
Samson said, "With the jawbone of a donkey, I piled them in heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey, I killed 1,000 men."
Now, Deborah and Barak sing a song in honor of their victory. Mm-hmm. But their song praises who?
Hopefully God. Can't remember completely all their words.
It mainly praises God.
Okay.
Yeah. Who does Samson's songs?
He said a lot of I's.
Yeah.
I did this.
Yes.
I did that.
It's short, sweet, to the point, and praises his favorite person, himself. Finally, after this, we get Samson's first prayer. This is the first time Samson calls on God in his entire story. And it is completely self-serving and incredibly ironic. His prayer would be better translated, "It is you who have given by the hand of your servant this great victory." The focus of his prayer is still himself. Mm-hmm. And no worry for his people, no worry about what this could do to them. He simply doesn't want the shame of being taken captive by the Philistines. Now he's thinking about contamination, ritual purity. What happened to his marriage to the Philistine woman? His partying with them, his touching of corpses. Obviously, Samson does know more than we realized about what it means at least to be an Israelite. He's aware there are boundaries God has placed on them. He just doesn't care unless it suits his need. Samson is all about Samson. He will do and say whatever he needs to get his way. But God is gracious and miraculously provides water. Okay, Samson, I'll give you the water you need. Sure. I mean, the mercy of God on Samson is amazing. And then Samson names the spring, En Hakor, but it means spring of the caller or spring of the namer. It memorializes Samson and his ability to get God to move on his behalf. I mean, this man, maybe he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe he's just missing some social, like, it's not about you, Samson. And then we get one final snippet of those 6 elements in the story. And we're told Samson judged Israel for 20 years. Mm-hmm. But Veronica, what's one thing that's missing from this?
You don't have like peacefully judged or that there's Israel's at rest.
Right. So we get a partial, but not a full. And it says in the days of the Philistines. Mm-hmm. So it's not even like it's his name that's put over this time period. It's the Philistines still definitely on top, definitely in charge. Maybe his mere presence just kept everything a little more even.
Mm-hmm. But just quieter.
Yes.
It's not, I mean, the absence of peace, I mean, okay, we're not at war.
But we're not free either.
But we're living with you. We're all walking on eggshells kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Let's just maintain that, like Judah was doing, maintain that status quo.
Right.
You're here because this Bible translates it, the Philistines dominated the land.
Yeah.
So you still have.
They're on top. Mm-hmm. We'll keep our distance, but we're here. Mm-hmm. And who's in control.
Yeah.
It would appear.
That doesn't sound like deliverance.
No. But they must leave him alone for 20 years. Maybe that's all it means.
Yeah.
For 20 years, Samson survives and keeps people somewhat okay.
Which is just amazing because that says then there's 20 years between chapter 15 and chapter 16.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess I've never pictured Samson getting older through this process.
Does he get wiser?
Yeah. Does he get stronger? Does he get weaker? I mean, how old was he in chapter 15? I'm picturing 20s, 30s.
Probably young 20s would be my guess.
So now you've got 40s, 50. I mean,
right.
This is, in my picture, all of these happen boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And you forget. No, there is
time. Like in the book of Daniel. You forget that in the lion's den, he was probably in his 80s.
Right.
We always picture a young Daniel.
Right. We got to go redo all those children's Bibles.
Seriously.
Because truthfully, as we get into next week, this is what makes it into the children's Bible.
Right. This is the only
These
part.
are the two parts.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we show a picture of Samson tying foxes together?
Yeah. You might traumatize some kids with that one.
But
so basically, summing up chapters 14 and 15, it would appear that left to himself, Samson would do little to help his own people. It would also appear, though, that left to themselves, the tribe of Judah is doing little in trying to occupy the land God gave them. Nobody's moving. It's God who is moving, using these broken, sinful people.
Well, you don't even hear the people cried out.
No.
I mean, we at least started the book of Judges with the people cried out, and
right.
God responds.
Not here.
They're not even crying out anymore.
No, this is just
very
the way
apathetic.
It is.
This is just life. I'm accepting my lot in life, and I can't change it.
So I think we kind of end going, God, how are you feeling? Like, where are you in the midst of this? What do you think about Samson?
Or are you waiting for one person to cry out?
Yeah. Ouch.
You know, is there one person who goes, God, this isn't how it's supposed to be? Or is God just going, you're all quiet? I'll stay quiet.
It's interesting. The brother of Jesus, James, he's in the book of Acts, strong believer. He's also mentioned in Jewish sources because he was such a righteous, pious man. They actually speak very highly of him. And they talk about how daily he was on his knees in the temple praying. And he's finally put to death by the high priesthood, the Sadducees. And within a few years of his death, the war against Rome starts. And the comment, I think, was made by probably Christians, not rabbis, that was it the prayers of James that kept things at bay.
Quiet.
Yeah. I mean, the prayers of a righteous man availeth much.
Hence, that's what he wrote in his book, too.
Hence, that's it. Yeah. He would know.
The half-brother of Jesus, I'm like the author of the book of James?
Right.
That one?
I forget about that one. Yeah. That's right. He did write that book.
Yes. And now everyone's screaming, actually, his name was probably Jacob and not James.
Yes, but I don't. I'm so used to James.
Yes.
I don't think about that either.
Yes. But so then next week we're going to come back.
Yeah. Oh, we're not done.
Going to get into probably the most famous.
Yes. In the book of Judges, this has to be
one of the
most famous
story everyone remembers.
And the antagonist, everybody knows her name.
Yes.
And she is worthy of the antagonism.
She needs a bigger headline.
Yeah. Delilah.
But so hopefully you've been enjoying this. Definitely we're having fun. I've learned a ton.
So have I.
So thanks, for joining us. Come back next week as we're going to continue the book of Judges, but get into Samson's story. And then just a little, because I want to keep putting this out there and hopefully I remember to do it next week. When we get into chapters like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, you don't necessarily want to listen to those chapters with children around.
Definitely 19, 20, and 21.
Because we're getting into some horrific things. And so I want to, the next couple of weeks, just remind you as you end, don't listen with younger ears around. Or
listen first and then.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's horrible things coming up in this book.
Right.
So thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.